What is happening, guys? Welcome back to the channel and to another video on the Caddy. So, in the last one, we got the van stripped down, we got all the doors off and sat there. We gave all of the openings and the hinges, everything a nice good clean. So they are looking absolutely mega now, nice and clean. All the backs and everything ready to roll. Door shuts, get that back on. Door shuts are all clean as well. So, that's that stage done as a prep process. The next thing to do, start sanding and keying all the paintwork. So I've been out and bought, not been out, sat on the sofa and ordered some panel stands. So there's a proper sort of body shop, right, they were cheap, but they're proper body shop panel stands for us to get the doors laid onto, to be able to start sanding them down properly without damaging them and things like that. I think the first thing I'm going to do is we'll mask the door openings and window openings on the van up just to try and stop getting too much dust inside. I'm probably going to have to take them out when I have to move it in and out of the workshop, whatever, but we'll put them on just to try and stop as much dust as we can. Then I think what the first job of sanding I'm going to do is we're going to get the driver's door on one of them stands and we're going to get the panel of it sanded back to bare metal to find out what damage has already been repaired on it and see if it's any good or if we need to try and sort it out ourselves. So we'll pull this forward, start masking these window openings out. So surely the excitement of me masking out this van has got to be well worth you hitting that subscribe button and pressing that little bell if you haven't already. I'm chasing down trying to get to 100,000 subscribers this year. At the moment, 63% of you guys that are watching the channel are not subscribed. So if you haven't already, do please consider clicking subscribe, press that little bell. Possibly even give the video a like and drop us a little comment as well. I might not reply to every single one, but I do react and read all of your comments. So thank you all so much in helping me trying to grow the channel and grow this community. So there's that mostly masked out. All the openings are masked out into the van now. We've gone for this plastic sheeting over the brown paper I've got down there, just because I've got it, it's a bit easier to work with, and this is only being masked out now for sanding purposes, so I don't go getting loads and loads of dust inside the van when I'm sanding this and sanding all the rest of the panels and getting it all over the interior. So it isn't perfect. There are areas that I've not masked up, but it's going to massively reduce the amount of dust we're going to get inside. So in the last episode, I mentioned that I'd had a little bit of help with the paint and someone giving me a bit of advice. So the company that have very, very kindly sent me all of that lot are Breakwell's Paints in Walsall. I'll put a link to all of their social media and everything and their website in the description. The company's been taken over and the website at the minute isn't everything that they do. They're currently building a new website which will go live soon, so definitely keep an eye on that. But yeah, they've sent me all of this lot, pretty much everything I'm going to need to paint this van. So I've obviously already used some, so I've got some masking tape, polishing pads for when it's done, mixing cups that he's actually marked on to tell me what I need to put and how much of each, some strainers, some nice wet and dry for at the end, selection sand pads all the way through, all of the grades, some body filler, the colour, which we're keeping quiet, and then everything else. We've got some etch primer if I decide to paint the chrome badge, which I said would probably work. We've got some plastic primer for all of the handles and everything. And then, yeah, everything else that we need. Some clear and some primer. So a massive thank you to Russell from Breakwell's Paints for contacting me on YouTube and saying they wanted to be a part of the golf project. And then we got talking and he said, well, can we help with the caddy at all? And I said, funny enough, I'm just about to start breaking it down to paint it. So yeah, there we go. Breakwell's Paints are helping me with this van. So as I've said, I've never done a proper respray before. We obviously did the rattle can respray on the T5, which turned out pretty well. And I think most of the processes we did were pretty right, but that paint was very thick and very forgiving. This paint's obviously not so thick. So we're gonna push this back. We'll get the trestles that I've bought down here, and then we'll get that driver's door on and we'll start sanding that and see what damage we can unearth on that. Right, so I said I thought the driver's door has got a bit of damage on it. Yeah, turns out it has all over it. Now, I'm not put any of the footage in of me messing around with this door because, yeah, it was quite annoying, and it was an angle grinder and the sanding pad. The filler on this door here was about 3, maybe 4 mil thick, and then down here it was probably 2 mil thick, and the door, it just feels horrendous. It didn't look bad when it was painted and all the strip and everything on it. So yeah, I'm not happy with it. I thought yesterday, right, we'll put some filler on it, we'll try and get the shape of the door and everything back and sorted, but it's not right, it's not going to work, and the amount of filler on it is ridiculous. So yeah, quite disappointing that I bought a door to put on the van and it turns out that it is, yeah, absolutely clagged full of filler. So I did chuck it on yesterday because I was just going to use it, and now I've decided that I can't use that. So I've now got to try and find another door, and I'm another 150, 160 quid down for a door, which is very, very disappointing. So we'll forget that door for now, put that on the scrap pile, and we'll just start sanding and keying the faces of everything else. So what I'm going to do first is go round and sand localised areas. I've sanded the whole thing just to dull it all off with 180 so that we can get a bit of primer on it. But what I've done is, where there were stone chips and you could see that there were like little very small rust spots starting to form, sanded that through, and I've put some cure rust on it. So I'm going to go through all of the panels, and then we'll pull the van forward and I'll find all the areas that need a bit of cure rust on them as well, just to try and stop it. So cure rust basically turns rust essentially back in steel. It changes the chemical makeup of the rust and makes it sort of solid metal again. So I'm going to go through everything now, sand it all, the areas, get it back to a bit of metal where it needs it. Then we'll give it a quick buzz over with a sander, and then we'll fill over the top of it with some dolphin to get it all nice and flat again. Well, that's, in my head, that's how I'm going to do it anyway. Whether it's right or not, I'm not sure. So I've got this door on the trestles. So we'll make a start on sanding this corner here is gone. So we'll be, yeah, cure rusting that and sorting that out. But yeah, I'm not sure how exciting it's going to be watching me sand bits. It might, yeah, might get a bit boring, but we'll chuck it on anyway. I'll see you back in a minute when I've done some bits and talk for a bit more. Right guys, I've got a bit of a feeling this video is going to be a little bit all over the place because I've not really been in here much this week. I've had loads of other stuff going on, so I've not spent a lot of time in here. I've not had as much time in here on this as I wanted to, but I'm running out of time to get this video uploaded, so let's go around and show you now where we are, what we've done, explain a bit of the process I've done, and what the next step's going to be. Obviously, masked it all out, and now we've gone round and sanded and sort of dulled all the paint off so that the paint will stick to it and giving it a bit of a key. Now, these areas where we've gone through, that one there was a scratch that had gone a bit rusty. There's one down there as well that had gone a bit rusty. These are either scratches or nicks that were in the paint, or high spots. I think most of them are just scratches. This side we've got pretty nice. Now you can see these darker patches. This is obviously where we've feathered through the lacquer and through the base into the primer. But it feels really nice. I have to say, I've gone over it and it does feel really nice. I've gone round and marked with masking tape where little dents. I've got to say, the actual van that we bought, other than that door that was on it and this wing, is pretty straight van. It is a pretty straight van. The only things I've found so far, a little dent in this here. There's a small little dent up here, which is literally a small little crease, and there's a little pin dent on that arch just there on that side. This side we've got two little pin dents there, and that's about it. These areas obviously here we're gonna have to go over with some primer and patch prime those areas, and then my aim is to prime the whole van so we can give it a bit of a light block to get it nice and flat, ready for paint. The roof is not, I've not touched the roof yet, but we'll buzz over that with a sander. Passenger door is keyed and I've rusted a little rust bit on there. Bonnet is the same as you saw it earlier in the video. It's been keyed and sanded back in areas, rusted. I need to finish and sand that off. Tailgate has been keyed and I've chucked some filler on. The couple of deep scratches that I didn't really want to go sanding back too much, and there's a bit of a dent there where I'm assuming someone's pushed the tailgate to close it. And again, on the sliding door, there were two little patches that needed a bit of filler. But other than that, they're pretty straight. That door is going in the bin because I'm not putting a door on that's full of filler. So, what have I done sanding wise on it? What I've done is I've used a DA, or an electric sander, because my DA was trying its hardest to kill my compressor, and we used these sanding pads on the DA to go over the whole thing. So earlier in the video I mentioned that this side, where all these bits of damage were, I'd sanded that all in 180 just to quickly get it all down and try and flatten it off. I've then gone over that with 240 over the whole side. I then went around the whole van, other than the roof, and I've sanded all of that in 240 as well. I then went back over very lightly on a DA, all on a DA, and I've gone back over and sanded all of the van with 320 as well. I then had either 320, 240, and did all the door shuts, and all the hard to reach like little nooks and crannies in it. Then I've gone over all of the sort of door openings and all of these bits on here with a green Scotch-Brite pad. Because we're not sanding this back down to bare metal, all we really need to be doing is scuffing and keying up the original surface of the paint that is clean. So yeah, 180, 240, 320, and then Scotch-Brite pad for all your edges and in your door openings and things. So it's mostly done. So we'll do the same on the roof. We'll 240, 320 the roof, and then in those grooves we'll be using the Scotch-Brite pad for those. Backs of the doors that still need doing, which again will be either mostly probably by hand. We'll probably just go straight in at 320 and Scotch-Brite on the backs of the doors and the bonnet, things like that. So yeah, that is where we've got to on this episode. I'm not probably going to be touching the Golf for another week or so, just because I want to get this in paint and have it sat for a week or so before I go touching it after it's been painted. So the next thing next week is going to be get the doors, get the roof done, get those doors all done, get this cleaned and sorted out. We're going to have a bit of a clear out in the workshop, put some tarp and things up to create a bit of a cleaner area in here. And then we're going to chuck some primer on this, hopefully, at some point next week. I'm watching quite a lot of YouTube on spraying cars at the minute. So yeah, hopefully that'll work. But anyway, as ever, I'm waffling on. So, hopefully you've enjoyed this one then, guys. Thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Let's see what next week brings. Until next time, enjoy.